Welcome back to today's wildfire update. And if you were following along yesterday, Oregon's fire picture has shifted fast overnight. Two of the state's biggest fires just posted major growth, and a brand new large fire has joined today's list. The Big Grass Fire grew from 220,000 acres yesterday to 300,000 acres today, and it's still only about 5% contained. And there's a fire we weren't even tracking yesterday, the Coleman Creek Fire near Juntura, now mapped at 140,000 acres and 0% contained. Nationally, the country remains at National Preparedness Level 5, the highest level on the scale, meaning firefighting resources are stretched about as thin as they get. Oregon, still the epicenter. Oregon still has more large fires than any other state, with today's National Interagency Fire Center report counting 34 active incidents statewide. Let's walk through them one by one. The Big Grass Fire, 25 miles southwest of Jordan Valley, now sits at 300,000 acres and 5% contained. The Coleman Creek Fire near Juntura is the newest addition to today's list, already at 140,000 acres with zero containment so far. The Rogue Creek Complex near Fossil has grown from about 199,000 acres yesterday to 215,000 acres today, now 36% contained, up from 31%. Here's some real good news. The Hay Creek Complex jumped from 50% containment yesterday to 90% contained today, even as it grew to nearly 187,000 acres. The Brewer Fire east of Madras nearly doubled overnight, from about 37,000 acres to just over 70,000 acres, with containment ticking up to 10%. The Aubrey Fire near Sisters held fairly steady, growing slightly to about 27,000 acres with containment at 6%. The Shingle Fire southeast of Mitchell roughly doubled overnight too, from 30,000 to nearly 61,000 acres, now 6% contained. One real bright spot, the 10-mile fire near Madras jumped from 36% to 94% contained, while holding steady at under 5,000 acres. The Grasshopper Fire in Mount Hood National Forest, on the other hand, more than quadrupled overnight from about 3,500 acres to 15,000 acres and remains at 0% contained. The merged Bench Fire near Warm Springs held steady in size at just over 40,000 acres, though firefighters haven't yet gained any containment on it. A state of emergency remains in effect for the Warm Springs community because of that fire, and an Oregon Department of Environmental Quality Air Quality Advisory also remains active, covering 13 counties from Baker and Crook to Wasco and Wheeler due to smoke from multiple wildfires across southern, central, and eastern Oregon. On the resource side, two military MAFS air tankers from the Air Force Reserve's 302nd Airlift Wing are now flying out of Klamath Falls to help attack these fires from the air. Traffic impacts in eastern Oregon. If you're traveling through eastern Oregon today, here's what you need to know. As of yesterday, the Oregon Department of Transportation reported repeated closures on Interstate 84 between Baker City and Ontario due to nearby fire activity. ODOT also reported sections of Highway 20 and Highway 26 east of the Cascades closed, with closures that can happen on short notice. That information is already a full day old, so if you're driving that stretch today, check tripcheck.com first. These closures change fast. The newest fire to watch is the Castle Fire near Milo in the Umpqua National Forest, which is now getting an international incident management team. Washington, the Kaiser Canyon Fire. Moving north into Washington state, we're tracking 13 large fires, with the Kaiser Canyon Fire as the one to watch most closely. Burning near Nesbalem in Okanogan County, it has scorched 124,000 acres and is only 16% contained as of today's report. The National Weather Service says critical fire weather continues across the interior Pacific Northwest, with breezy west winds and low humidity in the Columbia Basin. Forecasters say relative humidity there will run 15 to 25%, with gusts of 20 to 30 miles per hour through the Cascade Gaps. Colorado, a rare bit of good news. Colorado has 7 large fires burning, and the good news is containment numbers are trending in the right direction. The Aspen Acres Fire near Rye has burned nearly 102,000 acres, with crews holding it at 66% contained. The Gold Mountain Fire just north of Ouray has burned about 39,500 acres and is now 50% contained. Evacuation orders have been in place for parts of Gunnison and Ouray counties in recent days, so if you're in that area, check with your county sheriff for the latest status. California and Idaho, trending better. Heading west to California, the fire picture is actually looking better than out in Oregon. The largest blaze, the Bissey Fire, sits at 97% contained, burning just over 69,000 acres northeast of Susanville before crews got the upper hand. There's also a brand new fire to watch, the Fish Fire in Kern County near Hart Flat, which has burned about 1,800 acres and is only 5% contained. Just to the east in Idaho, the Tartar Fire near Weiser is causing the most concern, sitting at just 15% containment after burning over 12,000 acres. Meanwhile, the Claremont Fire near Boise is in much better shape, now 90% contained after burning around 6,600 acres. Minnesota, watching Superior National Forest. 6 large fires are burning in Minnesota's Superior National Forest, worth watching if you're anywhere in the Midwest. The largest is the Bear Trap Fire near Ely, at nearly 30,000 acres and 38% contained, along with several smaller fires nearby. Meteorologists say fires in northeast Minnesota and Ontario were responsible for a significant smoke event over the Great Lakes and Northeast last week. The latest outlooks suggest any renewed smoke moving into the Midwest and Northeast this week should stay higher in the atmosphere, with less ground-level impact than last week's event. The National Weather Picture Plenty is happening outside fire country today too. Across the Northeast, widespread soaking rain is moving through, and forecasters are watching the Catskills closely for potential localized flash flooding. Down in the Southeast, hot and humid conditions continue across the lower Mississippi Valley, with isolated afternoon thunderstorms popping up over South Georgia and Florida. Out on the southern high plains, breezy south winds, low humidity, and hot temperatures will support locally elevated fire weather conditions there as well. And out in Hawaii, the National Weather Service says increased winds are expected as Tropical Storm Fausto passes north of the islands today. Where this is headed. The pattern out west isn't changing much just yet. Temperatures today are running close to normal across the northern half of the west, while the southwest stays a few degrees above average. Minimum humidity will remain very low, 4 to 12% from Nevada into southwest Idaho, keeping critical fire weather in place there through the week. There is a bit of good news. Isolated wet thunderstorms are expected across the southwest today, with scattered storms also developing over the Colorado Rockies. Forecasters note that thunderstorms in fire-prone areas can bring both beneficial moisture and the risk of new lightning-caused starts, a genuinely mixed picture. Smoke coverage across the northern west should ease up somewhat compared to the last 2 days, according to today's forecast discussion, though it won't clear out completely. The strain on firefighting resources. Here's the story we're really watching closely this week. The strain this fire season is putting on firefighting resources nationwide. Right now, 25,244 firefighters and support personnel are deployed nationwide, along with 1,525 engines and 156 helicopters. The headline today, the National Interagency Fire Center has brought in 74 fire management specialists from Australia and New Zealand for 30 days of support. A 15-person incident management team from that group is heading to the Castle Fire in Oregon to help with command, logistics, and planning. This kind of international mobilization is notable, and it reflects just how many resources are already committed across Oregon and Washington. The Northwest geographic area alone has 48 uncontained large fires and 19 complex incident management teams committed, according to today's NIF report. Looking ahead, forecasters aren't showing a major pattern change on the immediate horizon, so this elevated fire weather threat likely continues into next week. Seasonal outlooks from the National Interagency Fire Center note that monsoon moisture typically begins moving into the Southwest and Great Basin later in the summer. If that monsoon arrives on schedule in the coming weeks, it could eventually help ease dry conditions in parts of Arizona and New Mexico. For now, expect containment numbers in Oregon and Washington to improve only gradually, while California and Colorado continue trending in a more positive direction. The bottom line. This is very much a developing situation, especially in Oregon, and conditions can change quickly. If you live anywhere near these fire zones, please stay tuned to your local sheriff's office and follow official evacuation guidance closely. The National Interagency Fire Center reminds everyone that most wildfires are human-caused and preventable. Fully extinguish campfires until they're cold to the touch. Don't park on dry grass. Don't discard cigarettes from a vehicle. And if you're towing a trailer, make sure your safety chains aren't dragging and throwing sparks. We'll have a full update for you tomorrow as containment numbers change and as we track conditions across the fire zones. Like and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss an update during this active fire season. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there.